Hi guys, Karen here. Today I'm doing a layout with a picture of my daughter and her boyfriend, and I thought I'd start by doing a woven mat for the background for the photograph. I've seen a lot of people doing paper weaving on YouTube, so I thought I'd give it a go. I'm just going to keep it fairly small, just as a background for the photograph, and I'm just trying to pick out colours. They're all mainly branding strips or odd strips of paper that I have in my scraps box, picking out colours that go with the photograph, pinks and blues mainly, as they're the colours that they're both wearing. So I'm just layering up these, and I'm trying to stick them as I go. It's quite tricky on this glass mat that I use. I love the glass mat, but when you're trying to do something a little bit fiddly like this, everything slides all over the place, as you can see. So I'm just trying to stick them down a little bit as I go, just to keep it together. Otherwise, it just sort of got a bit out of control. So it's just a little bit tricky to start off with to get things going. But once you start sticking them down and they start to form a bit of a mat, it gets a bit easier to weave them in. So I won't make you watch me doing the whole thing, but you can just see how it starts out, just weaving them first, but one vertically, one horizontally, and in alternate until I get the size that I want. So I kept checking the photograph to see how big it needed to go. And there we are, that's just about the size I wanted. So now I'm just going to trim off all the extra endy bits to make it, I didn't want it too perfect. I wanted that some bits are sticking up, it's not, and it wanted to look a little bit unruly and a little bit wild, because the photograph is taken at a visit to the zoo, and they'd got their faces painted as wild animals, as you do when you're 24 and feeling in the mood. So now I've moved on to creating a little bit of, I've got some modelling paste and some blue spray, which is the Dylusions ink spray called After Midnight, and I'm going to do a little bit of mixed media here. I'm having another go at mixed media. It's not my strong point, but I keep having a go because I quite enjoy doing it, but I'm not always that successful. So I created this sort of darkish blue. The first one I tried to make was really even darker, because the After Midnight spray is quite a dark colour. So I toned it down a little bit and just mixing it with some modelling paste and this mask that I've had in my stash for a while, but I haven't had a chance to use. And I've been wanting to use it for quite a while, so I thought I'd get it out and try and make a design with it. And there's like sort of lots of little squares and rectangles. So I really like the mask that are there, and I'm just going, while it's drying, I'm just creating a bit more of a background for the photograph. I'm just to lift it away a little bit from the background by using first some white tissue, and now this is a bit of vellum as well. So I didn't want to kind of have another clash of colours, but I did want to give a little bit of separation, so I've just made it a bit whiter behind the photograph onto the mat there, and then I'm just going to lift it a little bit away from the mat by using this craft foam, sticking that to the back of the photograph. So it just lifts it a little bit, and there we are, sticking that on. I'm actually really pleased how the little woven mat turned out. I think it's really colourful and a bit different. So now I'm going to do another layer of with the modelling paste, but not colouring it this time, so it's just white. So it's just sort of just in a couple of areas, just going diagonally down across the page. So there's another little bit of modelling paste just going in to 3 areas next to the blue, so it looks a little bit more dimensional, but I didn't really need more of the colour. So we're just doing the last little bit at the bottom there. Now I'm doing a little bit of spraying. This is a watered down bottle of the London blue colour, which I quite like. It's a little bit, I've got a few bottles as well. I've watered down some of the colours, so they're not quite as bold as the original bottles. So I've just used this in just in a few places, just going down that diagonal, just to bring all those bits of dimension together. It's quite dainty. I haven't put a too heavy a coat on, because I didn't want it to be too strong, but I just wanted a little bit of background just to take across that diagonal to join it all together. And now I'm doing a little touch of pink. I've already sprayed some water there to make it run, just in that one space, because that's the corner where, on the side where my daughter is, and she's got pink on her face and pink t-shirt. So I wanted a little bit of pink in the background. as you see, it doesn't show up an awful lot. Once you put the photograph and the mat over, it's just a hint of pink poking out from that side. And then I'm going to do just a little bit of this is back to the really dark after midnight blue. You can see how dark that is. And again, I just want a little bit of that poking out of the photograph mat in the bottom right hand corner, so it brings out the blue there, just a little bit of blue. By the time I finished, you hardly see any of it in the end. It's just a hint of blue around that edge, and even that wasn't quite enough, so I just added a little bit more there and just watering it down, trying to get it to run down diagonally to create a little bit of a blue shadow really in that area, sort of dabbing it dry. So once you put the photo on it, you don't really see much of it, and there'll be some embellishments and things covering that up later on. And then I've realised that the white bit of the modelling paste, the white ones I did a little while ago, now I've done all the misting, they've really almost faded out, they're hardly visible. So I got out some white enamel paint, and I thought, well, I'm just going to dab those onto the little square shapes, all the little shapes that look supposed to be white but have almost disappeared. I'm just bringing them out again by painting over them with some white enamel paint, just to bring them back out again, make them stand out a little bit more against the misting. And so I've just got down to the bottom. You can see they do show up now a little bit more with the white paint just over the top. And I just think it just brings that out a little bit. And I'm going to do some paint splashes with the After Dark ink, just doing a few splatters there across the diagonal with the blue. And then, as if by magic, that blue will become pink any minute now. And there we are. I'm going to do a bit of pink and do some splattering in the top left to go where the pink spray mist was. Do a little bit of pink splattering there as well. There we are. And now I'm using another little product that I happen to have in my stash. It's unfortunate I've shown it to you upside down, but it does say Smooch. It's called Smooch. It's a pearlised top coat, and it's just a little pearly finish to those little squares and little bits of the modelling paste that I painted white, and then I've just made them go a little shimmer with this pearl. I have no idea. I've had it in my stash for ages. I don't know where I'd got it. It's just there, and I thought that would just give that little lift. And I've decided that because the paper did warp quite a lot with all the paint on it, that I'd back it on this blue card. So I'm just going to, I've just trimmed it off a bit, and I'm just sticking it down with some double-sided tape. So I've just sort of doing it a bit at a time as I go down, just pulling away a little bit of tape and just making sure it all stays in one place, and it's fairly even all the way around, so that looks all right. And then I remembered I had this Cosmic Shimmer paint. It's like a hard paint. You spray water into the pot, and it's a blue. It looks a bit grey on the screen, but it is actually a lovely shimmery blue, and I thought it would be a good idea to paint around. I'm not entirely sure that was such a good idea now, but I went with it because it's a paint I've used quite a lot. I do like the effect because it has got a real shimmer to it. It's just not terribly clear that it looks blue and shimmery on screen, but it is more so when you see it in real life, and I just thought it would just give a shimmery background. I haven't actually realised yet that I've got the whole page upside down, and I almost sort of I did stick it down, and then I suddenly realised, oh no, that's wrong, the pink should be in the top left, not bottom right corner. So I managed to lift it up and stick it back down the right way round. So I thought I'd just do a little bit extra. I did put a little bit extra of the blue around the edges, but you didn't need to see me doing that. And now I'm looking at the embellishments, and because we're at the zoo, I looked in my stash for as many animal ephemera or die cuts as I could find, and I only found two. So I found the giraffe, and which was from an Amy Tangerine ephemera pack from last year, and I found a bear, which was, if you may remember, in the Gather collection from Maggie Holmes. So I decided to use these pink letters by Amy Tangerine, they're Alex letters, to do the title of Wild Things. And there's just a little card I found in my stash where I've done my journaling, and there's the bear. So there are bears and giraffes at the zoo, so I thought I'd put them on there so that it made it quite clear where we were. And just tap that little giraffe there behind them, looking down on them, and the blue and the bears there. So there's just the last few bits. Just got to stick these stuck down. I'm nearly there. So I'd like to thank you all for joining me for this mixed media layout. I still keep plugging away with the mixed media. I'll get better at it one day. So I do hope you'll join me again, and if you like this layout, please subscribe and join me again. Thank you.